Hey girl, you want a man that can treat you right, cuddle you, and teach you how to animate? You come to the wrong place. I'll beat the... Okay, so anyways, I might as well get this out of the way here. First of all, this will not teach you how to draw on a mouse. You will need a drawing tablet, and you'll need an actual license of Clip Studio EX, not the Pro version. Yes, I am fully aware that Clip Studio is way more expensive, and technically, if you are knowledgeable enough in editing software, then you don't really need the EX version, but it will save you a lot of headaches. Now, I am going to try to make this video short and easy to understand, right? I'm just going to assume you know all the basics, and now we can cut all the beginner crap. And I'm not exactly going to teach you how to draw in this video either, especially not like me. Okay, let's get into it. So a lot of you may have seen me animate Mario like this, right? And if you're aware of this, I posted on my community tab, you can check it out. I'll just play it right here for you so you can understand it. There you go. And that's basically Mario, a little bit of a pause there. As you can see, it is very well fluid, and it's very well professional looking, you know? So if you want this clean look, essentially, right? This is going to be tons of layers over here, okay? So if you want, like, to learn how to do animation style stuff, right? The best way to do it is go up here, basically click on File, go to New, go to this right here, this little animation thing. Just leave all this default, keep this to 1080p, 1920. Well, you can do whatever dimension you want, but I recommend maximum 1920 by 1080. Don't ever go over this stuff, right? Call whatever you want, and set the resolution to 72. And basically you'll have a timeline like this, and you'll have it like this. Let's look at the skeleton first, all right? The best way how you got this, right? There's a lot of trial and error sometimes, and a little bit of learning how to engineer a little bit. So you gotta have a little bit of that engineering technique to your drawing. So let's take all this, and this is a rough skeleton of it. And you may be thinking, oh, that's not too bad, right? But no, it actually looks like this. Now you can be like, whoa, what's all this stuff? There's a lot of stuff in here that I don't see on the actual animation, right? If you look at this, there you go. See, like basically a comparison. Now you can compare pretty well, maybe a bit thicker lines, that's about the only thing, right? But so essentially, right, let's look at this layer. This is basically the skeleton of the drawing. Now let's open this thing and see how unhinged it really is. Look at that. These are all folders of like layers of layers, right? Of every little nook and cranny and detail. So that's essentially put in perspective. So let's look at the layers of layers, right? Here's a layer of this. I don't name them, obviously. You can name them the way you want to. I'm like a psychopath, so I would recommend you name your layers, because you might get lost if you're not really experienced in it. But I don't name my layers unless I'm really lost, right? But essentially, right? So let's look at this. So we got this. This is the head, right? So this will be the head. This is the body. There's the body. One arm. I think it's the left arm. Yeah, that's the left arm. This is the right arm. Now, for further context, right, if you see some of this stuff deleted, right, just know that some of this stuff was already drawn out. I just deleted it later because it cleans up a bit more, but I recommend just doing that after you get the animation done. So a lot of this stuff is pre-drawn, and it's pretty much engineered, essentially. Eyes, and I think eyebrows, and then there's mouth. As you can see, everything has like its own folders of layers, and like layers within layers, essentially. And how this works is you go, let's unlock this layer. Let's open this up. And as you can see, there is all these cells here. Now, what I recommend, and when you do animation, is definitely try to animate in twos. As you can see, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. The only time is if I'm doing like a really sporadic animation movement is when I do in ones. But most of my recommendation, I would recommend if you're just a beginner animator, is work and a lot of still frames and twos if you really need to animate. So definitely try to find any ways of like extending the animation a certain way, like this, and then make a little bit of an animation position where it changes over time. And then essentially when you get that animation layer done, I would recommend cloning the groups just in case if you want to like clean up more, if you have like something you're really happy about. And then basically that's when you get something like this, and then you move on to something like this, and essentially that's how it goes. And yeah, that's basically like the gist of it. You have to think like an engineer almost. Like, what parts do you put over the skeleton to make this shape work out? It's a little scary. It's a little annoying to deal with because you kind of lose track sometimes when you are so used to the normal style of drawing. But this is definitely more of an engineering kind of way of doing it, of drawing. So if you want to like add a layer, right, all you gotta do, like if you make an animation layer, so make sure you put over here, you go to here, and you go to how to animation folder, you click animation folder, and that will be your animation folder. That's what these are, but don't worry about these. These are like groups of folders. And if you want to add a layer, and you go in here, you just click this little middle thing right here, animation cell. But if you do want to work in vector layers, you can do layers too. You can still use these like vector layers, or you can do these too. But make sure if you want to add layers in here, even just with these two, these animation cells. And so what you do, you add a little layer in here, and see, usually it'll automatically, maybe some version of Clip Studio, but my version version is that it's an older version, so a lot of this stuff will have to be moderated. Like will have to be manually added in there. But if you do have a version where it automatically does it, and you can like audio scrub, because because they have like an audio thing, you can actually come in here and you can another thing you can do if you want to have audio. You go over here, import audio, and it'll put the audio on a layer, on its own layer. So that's a little thing you can do. But if you have like all that fancy stuff that a new Clip Studio has, you're pretty much like automated at this point. Like this is all you really need to know. It's just basically engineering it. And essentially, if you have like a version like mine, like an older version, what you do is that you just right click and you add the layer right here. And basically that's how it works. And that's basically how you do the layers of animation. But yeah, that's basically it. That's basically the gist of how to get the animation done. So I would say in general, that's about all I got to say. So anyways, thank you for watching. Hopefully this was short and simple for you to understand. And I expect to see more stuff in the future. All right, see you guys later.